Hello everyone, welcome back to today's episode. So today's episode I wanted to talk the truth and some of the things that perhaps stackers might not talk about when it comes to stacking silver, stacking gold, precious metals in general. Now, I have a YouTube channel that I talk about stacking silver coins, Britannias, maples, and I talk about a whole variety of topics on it. Now, some of the stuff I wanted to talk to you is some of the truth potentially behind stacking silver, which might not be covered by other content creators, I don't know. But today's episode I wanted to kind of speak about why I don't think it's a good idea to put all your money into precious metals. Now, the banks and everything is a hot topic, and I don't really want to cover that because I don't really know too much about it. I have covered an episode where I talk about cash, but yeah, I just thought it was an interesting topic just to cover. But for today's episode, silver, putting your money into silver and everything, it is expensive. It can be addicting, and there's so many pieces that you can buy, but there's a lot of people that can't afford to buy a lot of silver. Now, I think it's important to consider that when you see YouTube content creators and you see different people buying silver, stacking silver, you see all people buying so many gold coins and everything. I mean, a gold coin in a 1 ounce form is over £1,600 here in the UK. In the US, it's closer to $1,900, potentially $2,000. And for much of the population, especially people that I know and everything, is out of touch for a lot of the people, especially gold. Now, this is why silver is quite good, because mostly it's affordable. Now, silver in a coin form like this is about, potentially on the second-hand market, you can get for £25 or so. Or if you get it from a bullion dealer, it's about £32, maybe £33, potentially more. It depends where you buy it from. Now, the problem I have with people putting all of their money into saving silver is, from experience, if you buy, let's say, a tube of Britannias, let's say you have £600, you have, let's say a little bit more actually, let's say about £650, enough to get a tube on the second-hand market. So you have £650 to spend on metals, and you decide that you want to stack a tube of 25 Britannias, which on the secondary market you can get for £650. I see it often. Now, you use that 650, they all come in, you check them, they're all good, they're all silver, they're all in fantastic condition. But then what happens when you've got nothing? Let's say you're driving along and your tyre goes, or perhaps there's an unexpected cost. And what happens if you've got nothing in the bank? Let's not even say in the bank, let's say you've got no cash or anything like that. The trouble with silver is if you sell it in the short term, you will lose money. Now, I will never suggest putting all of your money into precious metals because I just don't think it makes financial sense. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, but if you are to put, let's say, £32 on a silver Britannia that you buy from bullion by post or you buy from the Royal Mint, you realise you spent too much money and you need to sell to cover a payment or whatever that is, then, dealers are only going to offer you about £18, £19 for this. So it's a loss of, way over 30% short term. Now, in the long term, it might not matter because you might have bought silver, let's say, a few years ago or something when silver was low. Silver dipped quite a lot recently over the last few years, and we've seen it rise considerably. And let's say you got in the game a little while ago, once silver prices were low, it might not matter. However, in the short term, especially for the new stackers and everything, it's just something to be aware of. It is incredibly addicting buying this sort of stuff. Buying silver is incredibly addicting if you can't stop yourself. Now, one of the things that you will learn over the course of when you stack silver, when you buy silver, is it takes a lot of character for you to, let's say, walk into an LCS, see some of the stuff they have for sale. Let's say you pick up this bar and you think, oh, you really like this bar. when I saw this, I was like, I've got to have that. And you know, when you have that urge, when you just think, I need to get that bar or that coin or whatever it is, and if you don't have the funds to, let's say, pay for a lot, you know, pay for that tube, £650, or even pay for that £30 bar, when you don't have much savings, then it doesn't make much financial sense, especially if it's going to burden you financially. Now, silver stacking is supposed to be, in my opinion, a good way to save money, you know, over a period of time. It is a good way to save money. However, don't put all your financial resource into silver. It just doesn't make sense when it comes to, if you have all your money in silver or precious metals or even gold, and I love gold. I think gold is better than silver personally, but we all have our opinions. It depends where you are, etc. But cash or money, potentially to cover those bills, that emergency fund is going to be the biggest thing of all, and it's more important than this stuff. As much as I love this stuff, and I will, you know, I have a YouTube content. I create content on YouTube for silver stacking and everything, so you guys know how much I like buying it and I like stacking it. But the most important thing is to make sure that you don't run yourself into the ground buying this sort of stuff. If you can only afford a 1 ounce silver coin, let's say once a month, once every couple of months, you know, once every few months, it doesn't matter. It does add up quickly. As long as you're consistent and you can stay within your means. Everyone's different. You know, everyone has their own story. Don't compare yourself to others. There are many channels that have a big stack. Lots of different gold coins, lots of different silver coins. And I admit I've seen channels where I've thought, oh, you know, that's a good piece, and it's incited me to buy something. Or perhaps you see a channel talk about a low mintage or something, and it does potentially give you an impulse to buy, and that's only natural. That's only something, you know, we're all human. But I think the main thing I want you to take away from this video, if I am to give you any type of tip or anything, is try to avoid putting all your money into this, because it's just not a good thing in the short term, especially if you figure out that, you know, if you have a bill or you need to sell some silver or something, you're going to be at a loss. I think the most important thing before you even consider buying a lot of silver is to, of course, an emergency fund for those unexpected bills, or those savings. Despite it being cash and it losing value, I understand, but it's highly important. Once you've done that, you could potentially buy a lot of these, you know, in bulk if you want to. Now, you're your own person, you're your own, you trust yourself, you know, you do your own due diligence with it. If you really want to stack metals and you really want to buy a lot of it, then it's entirely up to you. But just when you're next in, you know, your LCS, and you might not have, let's say, a lot of money to spend on on precious metals. I was going to say special metals then, for some reason. Precious metals. Just have a little think. Especially if you know, let's say you're down to your last £30 or so. Don't worry so much about it. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Don't compare yourself to other people, because everyone has their own story, everyone has their own journey. Now, the good thing about it is the silver stacking community is very supportive and everything. We all have our different takes on what we like to stack, what we like to buy. But, you know, lots of people will have lots of different big stacks and everything, so just try not to compare yourself to them and have that impulse to put all your money into precious metals, because it's not going to be great, especially if you're a normal person, let's say like me. Now, if you're rich and you've got all sorts of money to play with, then go crazy. You know, who am I to tell you? And, you know, who am I to tell you what you should buy or not? But just a little tip, obviously, try not to get that silver addiction. Any addiction is not great. You know, despite what people might say, they might say, you know, silver stacking is fantastic. The addiction is, you know, a good addiction. Try not to listen to that, because it's not great advice. But something to think about, obviously, of course. If you don't agree with me, then by all means, please let me know. That's absolutely fine. I just think that having that emergency fund, buying within your means, and even eradicating your debts before you even start silver stacking is going to be better personally for your well-being, your financial, and eventually in the future, because you can buy potentially more stuff, you know, more silver. But let me know your thoughts anyway. I'd love to hear them. And of course, if you agree, disagree, then please let me know. And if you enjoy this content, then please leave a like on the video, leave a comment, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks very much, guys. Take care.